Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. This is Kyra and today I'm going to be showing you how to make these layered hidden paper clips. And these aren't entirely different from regular hidden paper clips, but there's sort of a slight difference to them in that they hold ephemera just a little bit differently. Just something to try and kind of add a little bit more creativity, something new to put in your journal. So let's go ahead and get the materials we need to make this. So to start, you're obviously going to need some paper. I am using the vintage color papers from the My Porch Prints Etsy shop. And these come in 7 different colors currently that you can pick from. I'm going to go with yellow and pink today. And if you've been following along with some of our other projects we've done recently, these will look familiar to you. You'll know that I sized these down to 4 to a page or 25%. And that was just to save me some paper so I could pick different colors and patterns without having to print off full sheets. But if you don't want to do that, you could print out full sheets and then cut them down to size. These are 5 inches by about 4 inches, maybe a little under 4 inches here. And close counts with this, you just need some smaller strips of paper to work with. And then I also have some fussy cuts that I printed out for decorating. That's optional, you don't have to do that. But if you're interested, I will link those down below for the ones that I use today. And then of course you'll need some paper clips, just some average sized ones should do. And you'll need 2 per little sort of hidden paper clip tag we're making. So let's go ahead and start here. You're going to need 3 of those sheets, and we're going to start by folding them in half, just like this, sort of lengthwise. And then that fold is going to be our guide for cutting these in half. So try to keep them as even as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always trim a little bit off later, but just try your best to get it as even as you can on the first go here. And then we are going to be layering these 2 pieces over one another to make one long strip, just like this. And how long you make this piece is kind of up to you. I wanted mine to be a little bit longer, so I'm going to be adding glue towards this bottom panel here, maybe a ½ inch worth of glue up from the bottom. And then I'm just going to layer this other piece on top just like this. And that is going to give us our full long strip here. Just kind of try to get things straight. All right, and then we're going to do something very similar with this second piece. We're going to, again, fold it in half lengthwise here, and then we're going to use that as a guide to cut it in half. So you can go ahead and do that with these other 2 pieces. Just like this. And these aren't printed on the back, they're just printed on one side. You don't need to print on the back of these for this project. And here I decided to swap these around. I was hoping it would like give me more of a layered pattern, but honestly, this is my first time making these. I was kind of just making it up as I went, trying to figure out my process. And this is not necessary. You don't need to swap these panels around. You won't be able to see them, so it won't make a difference. So just skip that. And then we're going to, again, glue these pieces together, same as we did the first time, but we're going to move our strips up a little bit and kind of make it smaller than our first one. So you want it just slightly smaller. Again, it's not an exact science, just a little bit shorter because we're going to layer these and we want to be able to see our layers when they're folded over the top of one another. So go ahead, get your glue, and glue your first strip on top of the second, just like this, same as the first time, just a little bit shorter. All right, and now that we have these 2 pieces, for these last 2 pieces, we're just gonna fold them in half. This time we're going not lengthwise, but the other direction. Can't think of what's that called. What's a hamburger, hot dog? I don't remember. We're just folding them in half like this. And then set those aside for now. And going back to our first strip here, we're going to fold it in half as well, except we want the front panel to be longer than the back by maybe an inch. Again, not an exact science, you just want it a little bit longer. This will help those 2 pieces that you glued together not pop open and fall apart if you try to fold it in the center. And it also just gives you a little more length for decorating later on. And then we're going to grab our first paper clip here. Make sure that these sort of rounded edges are like pointing downward. And we're gonna add it to the far right side. You do not want to put this in the center, you want it on the far right side, otherwise this won't work. So get it as far to the right as you can without it sliding off the paper. All right, and once you have that done, you're gonna want to grab your second piece here, and we're gonna fold it over the top of the first piece. Make sure to slide it up a little bit so that you can still see the layer behind it. You don't want to cover that up. We're trying to go for kind of a pretty layered ribbon look here. So go ahead and slide it up and then fold it over the top of the first one here. Give it a good crease, just like this. And at this point, this is where you will want to cut any shapes in the bottom of your little ribbon strips here. I'm just gonna go with a standard triangle for now to kind of make it look like a traditional ribbon shape, just like this. You can try different shapes out, feel free to get creative here. I'm just gonna keep it simple for now. And then I'm going over those with a little bit of distress ink just to help them sort of stand out from one another and give a little bit of contrast. And then now we can grab some glue and we're gonna add it to the front and back of this sort of second panel here, this top panel. And we're gonna glue it down over the first one, over the paper clip, and this is gonna be what creates that hidden paper clip element. And you don't have to add glue all the way to the bottom of the ribbon if you don't want to. You can keep it near the top if you want the bottom to kind of be, I don't know, loose for decorating purposes. But I'm gonna go ahead and just glue mine down flat for today. Just keep things, again, kind of simple. And don't worry if the ribbons don't line up perfectly. You could always take some scissors and then just go along the edge and trim off any extra that's showing. So, you know, just kind of get it close counts here. All right, and now that that is done, this is sort of the traditional hidden paper clip that you've probably seen a million times before. You just find the section between the two layers and then just tuck it over your page like this, and it's pretty simple, pretty basic. But what makes this a little bit different is going to be our second hidden paper clip that we're making for the top. So go ahead and grab those first two panels that we talked about earlier. Decide which one you want on top and bottom. If you didn't swap your papers around like I did, they should be the same anyway, so it shouldn't matter. And then taking the paper clip, we're gonna put it on the left side this time. Again, not on the center, not on the right. You want it on the far left side this time. Again, make sure the paper clip is facing down, just like this. And we're going to put that over the inside panel, and then the top panel is going to cover it, creating another hidden paper clip. So again, adding glue to the front and the back, you should be able to glue this panel down and cover up the paper clip and the first panel, entirely. And again, this is where you can cut a shape in this if you want to, but be careful because this piece is shorter, so you might want to feel around and find where the end of the paper clip is so that you don't accidentally cut into it or cut so high that you reveal it. So just be careful with that. And this is going to create our final layer for our little ribbon here. And because we put the paper clips on opposite sides, this allows this piece to slide over the first one without getting stuck. So it should just sort of smoothly glide over the top, just like this. And that's going to create our completed hidden paperclip ribbon here with our layers. And because of this layer, you can now slide ephemera under this top one, like the top layer here, and you can still see the ribbon behind, which is pretty cute. And you could also slide more ephemera underneath that first ribbon too to create like extra layers and extra ephemera. You can tuck ephemera in the back on the second page. So there's a lot more space for tucking ephemera into this sort of layered hidden paperclip here. So you could definitely leave this as is, but I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of decorating here. Something to keep in mind when you're decorating this is that if you put anything on the bottom of the tag, just make sure that you still leave room for sliding ephemera. You don't want your ephemera getting like caught on any pieces or anything like that. So I'm going to keep my decorating to this top panel here just to kind of keep things a little bit easier. And this is sort of what it looks like once you put it in a journal. Again, you just start with that bottom piece and then add the top layer on top of it like this. and then slide any ephemera in there that you choose to have. And because this is still just a hidden paperclip, I do have a dimensional butterfly, but otherwise this is a really sort of flat piece to put in your journal. So you should still have plenty of room for other decorating and things like that. I really like that it's not one of those things that make your journal too thick, so you can add a lot of them and have a lot of really simple but beautiful decorating in your journal. So let's go ahead and make one more of these just to kind of show you another quick example. This time I'm going to be using the pink papers here, just choosing a couple that I liked, and again folding each of them in half and then cutting them in half. And this time I'm not swapping any around because it's not necessary, so I'm just going to keep them as is and begin gluing them together to make the first long panel here. And if anyone wonders, I do like to keep my glue in a cup nearby. I don't put the lid back on, and that causes a little bit of leakage, but it's really handy to just have it nearby so I can grab it, use it, and then put it back in the cup and keep going. So that's usually how I handle my glue. And I'm using Fabri-Tac today, if anyone's wondering. It's a little bit on the pricey side, but it holds really well, and it's not water-based, so it doesn't wrinkle your papers. Highly recommend. Alright, so again, just continuing on here, folding our pieces. Again, we want the front piece of the panel to be longer than the back. You don't have to do that if you want a shorter tag, but I like mine to be a little bit on the longer side, so that's why I do that. And again, folding our second panel over the top, making sure that it's a little bit shorter so that you can still see the layer underneath it. And then adding our paperclip to the first layer here on the far right side, just like this. And then gonna glue that second panel right over the top. And before we do that, again, cutting any shapes we want. So again, I'm gonna do the triangle here. I just like the way this looks, it's a cute little ribbon. I think you could play around and maybe do like a domed shape or something like that. If you have like one of those paper punches, you could probably punch like a really cute design in the bottom. Feel free to play around and have fun with that. And then we're just gluing that panel again on top to cover up the panel below and hide the paperclip. And then to make our second little topper here, I'm going to again fold these pieces in half, add the paperclip to the far left side of this first little panel, and then I'm going to hide it with the second panel just glued right over the top, just like this. And I really liked the floral design that was on these pieces, so that's why I didn't cut that first panel into a ribbon shape, and it's why I'm going to cut this one with sort of like an inverted triangle shape, just because I wanted to save the flowers and just still have them as part of the design. I just like the way they look, so I'm just going to quickly cut off the corners here. And that gives a slightly different shape. I actually really liked the shape of this one. Let me know which one you prefer, or maybe try something new and post a picture in the Facebook group. I'm interested to see what you guys might do, but that's kind of just a quick little different design you can try if you want. And then again, the ephemera piece just tucks up in here just like that. And I'm gonna do, again, similar decorating as the first one, just kind of keeping things simple today, adding a journal word and some flowers and a butterfly here, just like this. And there you go, that is our second little tag done. You can see this goes really quickly. These are pretty easy to make, and I'm sure I'm going to be doing a lot more of these for future journals. I just really like the design of them. I think it's kind of fun, and because the toppers are able to come on and off, you could swap toppers around. So I could use the pink one on the yellow one and the yellow one on the pink one. So, you know, it might be fun to try sort of different designs, or maybe like swap them with a friend who also makes one. I don't know, you guys can get as creative as you want with these, but for me, that is going to be the end of today's tutorial. I hope that you guys had fun and got some new inspiration and will give these projects a try. Thank you again for helping us reach 50,000 subscribers. That's awesome. We're definitely aiming to keep growing though, so if you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my Porch Prints on YouTube so that you don't miss out on any future content. But otherwise, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye!